Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the one and only, Mexi here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario Party Jamboree, not only for the Nintendo Switch 1, but in addition to the Nintendo Switch 2 version with some new content. So, anyways, last time, we somehow managed able to show off the first of the three Motion Island modes, and that's what it appears to be, Rhythm Kitchen, and that was actually quite a lot of fun, especially considering about the fact that after all, we've already been in through 4 difficulties, ranging from normal, long, challenging, and remix mode, despite the fact that I have to unlock remix mode off screen, so just in case about the fact I have to specifically try to able to experience every single mini-games in Rhythm Kitchen as far as I'm aware. But apart from those side things though, yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. So today, for this video, is that we are about to be checking out the next mode in Motion Control Island, as far as I'm aware. That's what it appears to be, Toad's Item Factory. Now, as you can definitely tell, is that the character choice I'm actually going to be using this time what appears to be Boo, because why the heck not? And second of all is about the fact that I'm actually going to be going back on using not 1, but 2 Joy-Cons, because between both Toad's Item Factory, in addition to Paratrooper Flight School, those modes only requires 2 Joy-Con controllers, because, well, you'll see and find out once we're able to actually dive into that particular mode, as far as I'm aware of. So, but anyways though, so with that being said though, is about the fact that at this point in time, that we are straight to the point, that we're actually getting very close towards the end when it comes to showing off every single mode in terms of the forms of Super Mario Party Jamboree, well, in terms of the Switch 1 version as far as I'm aware. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into Toad's Item Factory. Now, as far as you can definitely tell, for the fact that this particular mode does require you to be able to use 2 Joy-Cons specifically, so just to ensure for the fact that, as you can definitely tell, we need to solve the puzzles and stuff like that. So as a result, your job is to simply try to able to guide one of those colored balls into the goal. Now, as far as I'm aware, for the fact that this particular mode does have about, let's just say, 30 segments as far as I'm aware, each with 10 areas as far as I'm aware, and just like the forms of how it does it on Rhythm Kitchen mode, obviously though we have to make sure we need to get enough space before you're able to actually experience this mode. So because of that, and you can also able to participate in this mode within not only 2 players, but also 4 players. So as a result, to make things a little bit more interesting when it comes to cooperative side of things. So, but either way, so I'm sure enough though, the host for this mode this time around, what it appears to be none other than Green Toad. Because as far as you can definitely tell, for the fact that no matter what though, is about the fact that he'll try to tell us about the forms of what to do for this point. Especially considering about the fact that you kind of think about it though, that this mode does remind me of something, which, as far as I'm aware, it reminds me of so much of one of those games you can play in Wii Party Motion for a little bit. Although the noticeable differences this time is about the fact that we have to use 2 controllers instead of just 1. So, as you can see, that every time if you tilt something, likely, for instance, in this particular first stage right there, we have to tilt the Joy-Con up and down until you're able to actually try to elevate the platform right there. Well, not just for 1 Joy-Con, but 2 Joy-Con specifically. So here we go on to Area 1. Factory Basics. So because of that though, as far as I'm aware, we're about to be going through every single stages in this mode. Because I almost first thought that we expected to able to try to do this in 2 parts in particular. But it turns out though, it's about the fact that if you couldn't tell from the time length of this video, it's actually not going to be that long. Like, it's almost going to be roughly about 50 or so minutes. So, but we will try our best if we're able to actually go through every single levels in this particular mode. So, anyways, let's move on to the second segment in Factory Basics right there. Now, as far as I'm aware, is about the fact that in Factory Basics right there, is that all you have to really do is about the fact you have to take control of the forms those moving blocks. So as a result though, you can able to actually just, you know, move up and down to potentially try to do some bit of flicking motion to guide the ball into the goal. Like usually the goal is actually representing the warp pipe right there. So once you're done with that, you can move on to the next segment. And then if you've done all 3 segments in that particular stage, you move on to the next level, which involves around different contraptions. So as a result, though, for the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory, but until the later stages, though, it can get pretty difficult at times, which is especially noticeable until specifically once we get to the halfway point in terms of this in the entire mode. So also, this does, requires me to be able to do a lot of concentration sometimes, especially considering about the fact if I get too distracted, well, I do apologize for this point. So, anyway, it also requires a lot of thinking too, to be able to actually consider about the fact that trying to, strategic about something like this. So, anyway, and then luckily though, is about the fact that there's no time limit in this particular mode, so as a result though, it'll take you for about plenty of time, assuming if you do want to master the forms of motion controls like this one. So, now, I'm not entirely sure for the fact that if you do decide to take a break at one point, I'm not entirely sure if your progress will be saved, especially considering about the fact that after all, this is actually my first time experiencing this mode. So no matter what though, chances are though is about the fact that again, I will try to conquer every single stage as far as I'm aware. So, anyway, so once you're done with those 3 segments in a stage, it actually shows us a bit of a cutscene right there, which actually shows that not only 1, but 3 different colored balls is actually gone into the actual conveyor belt. Now, as a result, it did somehow shows us that the item has been revealed, like the normal dice block, for example. And it's especially noticeable considering for the fact that we might able to actually come across into 10 items when it comes to the forms in the entire mode. So, anyway, so that pretty much does it for Area 1. Now let's move on to Area 2, where instead of trying to move your Joy-Con up and down, so instead we can now move left and right. So because of that though, meaning about the fact that you have to go to send them flying, which as the name suggests, we need to simply try to able to push the ball into the opposite side, and that's all you have to do basically. So, rinse and repeat basically, but until specifically in the later areas, we can able to actually come across into even more contraptions, which you'll find out soon enough. So, but I digress. So yeah, a few things I want to talk about this is though, and that's what appears to be for the fact that, well, today's the day is the forms of the 1st of September today. In some cases in 2025 today, I can't even believe we're now on to the 9th month of 2025 right now, and it's especially noticeable considering for the fact that, well, at this point in time, we've only just got about 12 more days to go until, well, Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary is hopefully trying to make it happen, so we shall wait and see what happens in a later time, especially considering for the fact that we've already got ourselves prepared for that until specifically in the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks or something like that. Well, time will definitely tell though, because after all, this is only just the beginning of September, which like I said before is about the fact today is the 1st of September. So because of that though, my expectations for the sake of the forms of September is going to be pretty high, especially considering about the fact that we can able to actually hear more about some surprises there, and of course, not to mention though, we've only just got about 24 more days to go until Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is going to be releasing, and then meanwhile, we've also got 25 days left until Pac-Man World 2 Repack is going to be on its way for multitude of systems, basically. So because of that though, yeah, I'm pretty much excited for that. So, but anyway, and there's also reassuring about this too, is about the fact that, did you guys know that it's been 1 year ago since when Paramount Pictures did somehow manage able to bring the first trailer of the forms of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie? Because seriously, it's been like 1 year since that particular trailer first came out, and while looking back on it though, it still looks remarkably hyped, especially noticeable back in last year in 2024. And it's also worth noting for is about the fact that it's also been 5 years ago since that particular second edition when it comes to the forms of Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase has been revealed since in August 2020, and while looking back on it though, it just feels a bit underwhelming to say the least, apart from the fact I was only excited for one game only back in the day, which appears to be Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, because the forms of the Kingdom Hearts fanatics such as myself. So because of that though, yeah, you can get the idea for this point, especially considering about the fact that at the very least though, with the forms of the most recent Partner showcases get slightly bit better, but usually, relatively speaking, it still is not my cup of tea or anything, which I might be biased when it comes to preferring, general directs over the likes of specific types of directs, like, partner showcases and everything. So, again, I'm usually biased when it comes to that. So, but anyway, so we've now come across into ourselves the spinning platforms right there. Like, usually, relatively speaking, I was about the fact you have to tilt the Joy-Cons, likely also for the fact that we need to hold it upwards in order able to actually try to make this thing work. Because, as far as I'm aware, we need to carefully try to tilt the actual little horizontal bar or vertical bar, depending on what specific things you want able to positioning for. And then as a result, though, you can able to actually try to guide, one of the balls into different parts of the actual obstacle. And by the way, something's worth noting for, until the later stages to come, if you did let the color ball fall off the actual obstacle course, you can just simply try again, basically. However, though, you're able to actually start all over again. That's the only catch, so... But, yeah, for the most part, though, it's about the fact that you have to master those specific skills if you really want to complete those stages in the quickest way imaginable, despite the fact that, like I said before, there's no time limit. So, anyway, so we need to hold the Joy-Con upward or upright again. So just in case we get able to actually get the actual accuracy going. So, but yeah. And also, as far as I'm aware, we are almost essentially done with any other aspects in terms of motion control island mode, as far as I'm aware. In terms of the forms of, Super Mario Party Jamboree as far as the game itself, basically. So, because, well, straight to the point, though, is about the fact that, like I said before, we're actually getting very close towards the end of the forms of checking out every single mode in terms of specifically Super Mario Party Jamboree for the Switch 1, just before we move on to the Switch 2 content, which we still need to try to work on how to deal with the forms of capturing footage on Switch 2 onto my Roxo Game Capture HD Pro. I might try to sort that out at some point for specifically until the next couple of days ahead, especially considering about the fact at this point in time as well, that is also worth knowing for too, that Silver, he's almost basically done every aspect in terms of Sonic and the Black Knight as well. So as a result though, he's now going to be approaching on to the final stretch of the game, although that'll be a perfect opportunity for the fact that he could, miraculously, try to conclude that particular game just around the time when, Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary is fastly approaching. So, yeah, you probably get the idea for this point, especially considering about the fact that, well, I suppose, no matter what though, as far as what Silver has already mentioned about this before, that we've already got ourselves, well, to be more specifically, if you live in Japan, obviously though, that Japan already receives Hello Mario application for not only for Nintendo Switch, but along with mobile phone devices as well, including iPads as well. So as a result though, I'm sure it will come overseas at some point in 2026 for some time. So yeah, that's something worth noting for. So oh jeez, this one can give me some bit of troublesome at points, because sometimes though, I have to be dead on with the actual timing when it comes to likely trying to, flick the actual specific little spinning bar into that specific angle. Because, yeah, sometimes it takes time, especially because no matter what though, I've almost first thought they'll try to able to actually bring in even more stages as far as I'm aware. Well, actually as it turns out is about the fact that, like I stated before, each and every single area does contain 3 segments, making a grand total of 30 stages to tackle. So, yeah, that's as far as I was expecting for this point. So, anyway, so let's see what's inside in this thing. And we got ourselves the swap mirror, so clear. Pretty nice and everything. So spin, spin, spin. So yeah, because we had to spin around that particular moving spinny platform there. So I guess that makes it pretty obvious. And now we got ourselves the next contraption, which appears to be the spinning fans. So as a result, depending on what Joy-Con you're going to be holding, you have to spin the, well, let's say if you're trying to use the left Joy-Con, you're able to actually activate the red fan, and then if you're trying to able to spin the blue, or should I say the right, Joy-Con, you're able to actually activate the blue fan. So, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory on this particular first section right there. Oh, and also, if you couldn't tell already, is about the fact that when it comes to those Joy-Con controller combinations, I'm actually going to be going into the odd colors, which appears to be not only green on the left, but in addition to grey on the right, because, well, straight to the point though, is about the fact that I've almost first thought I was getting able to try to utilize my pink Joy-Con, but as far as I'm aware, I do need to charge that controller for a while until when it's fully charged after using that several times, specifically ever since in, I would say since Pro Rolls mode as far as I'm aware. So as a result though, oh, and also with the forms of Party Planet Trek as well, because of all that every single mini-games we've already experienced in, Party Planet Trek. So, anyway, so now we've actually done with the second segment. Now let's go ahead and do the third segment, where now we have to do a mixture of both between the spinning thing and in addition to utilizing the actual wind fan as well. So, yeah, I can definitely tell right off the bat that the third segment can be felt a bit tricky sometimes because of all that. You know, you have to be so accurate with the timing and what have you, so, yeah, I think that's as far as we can able to say about this, I guess. So, anyway, so let's just go ahead and, carefully try to tilt it, and there we go. So, and I believe that pretty much does it for, Ride the Wind. So, not too shabby for the most part, especially considering, unlike, the third and the final segment in Area 3, that gives me some bit of trouble sometimes. So, but yeah, apart from those aside things though, actually the way I see the actual entire structure of the forms of, oh, well look at this, we got ourselves the familiar paratrooper wings as far as anything else is worth considering about for the hints for the next mode we're about to check out until tomorrow if possible. So, oh, this is getting a lot more interesting. It's all about balance, so yeah, basically that was about the fact that we need to carefully try to, you know, balance ourselves to able to get to the goal, and, oh, nice. First try too, because nowadays though, as you can tell, there's a lot of bottomless pits, so as a result, again, if you let the ball fall into the bottomless pit, you have to start all over again, so, yeah, that's something worth noting for, so. Alright, so I'm just going to do that, and oh jeez, don't let the ball decide able to go completely bounce around all over the place, because there are a couple of times though where the ball decides able to bounce around all over the place, and sometimes though it will miraculously try to able to get into the bottomless pit without even realizing until now, so yeah, this could take a bit of a while. But, jeez, I just realized my Joy-Con is almost running out of battery, which I'm hoping we can get this done just before my Joy-Con ride decides to deplete itself. I mean, mind you though, it's about the fact I'm not entirely sure if that my, grey Joy-Con controller has a flat battery or something. Well, I can't really, judge about that for sure, because even then, I'm just going to try to focus right here. Oh, please. Please, 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 please. Ah, dang it. There goes that. Oh well. I guess we'll have to keep trying, I suppose. But anyway, as far as the entire structure of the forms of how Toad's Item Factory, as far as I'm aware, with that particular cutscene we saw for about, let's just say 3 or 4 times as far as I'm aware, that it does remind me like I was experiencing one of those attractions from the Super Nintendo world. Well, except the fact that we ended up playing on the Switch game, so as a result though we can pretty much expect as far as I'm aware. So yeah, I do apologize for that particular commentary itself gets a bit awkward sometimes, because I have to try to concentrate whenever I was trying to progress onto the later stages as far as this mode is considered with. So, which, kind of think about it though, while looking back in our Let's Play of Super Mario Party, specifically though, one of those Toad's Rec Room minigames as far as I'm aware, which appears to be Puzzle Hustle, which I know for a fact that I'm pretty sure that Sonic and Pinkie Pie were both originally able to go through every single stages in that particular minigame, but ultimately though, I think they only did 10 stages, if I can recall. I mean, mind you though, I will definitely need to go ahead and say this right now. After I'm done with this recording session, I suppose I can probably able to actually go back on to playing through Super Mario Party on my spare own time, so just in case I can able to actually continue playing through Puzzle Hustle to able to hopefully try to complete every single puzzles in that mode. So, but either way though, I suppose I just need to able to try to focus on this for a while because, oh boy, I believe the last stretch is going to be a, it's going to be pretty tricky as far as I'm aware, so, and, oh, so close, okay, there we go, not too shabby. And I suppose that pretty much does it for this particular area, or specifically area number 5. So, now I'm pretty sure we're already on to the halfway point of this particular mode as far as I'm aware. So, anyway, so we got ourselves the jump call.
Clear.
Where, you know, that item was only appeared in, not only Mega Wiggler's Tree Party, and in addition to, Western Land, and of course, not to mention though, King Bowser's Keep, and also same applies with, I would say, Rainbow Galleria as well, and even Goomba Lagoon, if I could recall that. I mean, I just can't really judge for the sake of the the item appearances as much, so, anyway, so now let's move on to the next area, which is, if I was assuming so, it's area 6, so... Or in some cases, though, we ended up in the 16th stage as far as obstacles are worth considering for. Oh, so close. I was expecting to try to do this the quicker way by let that particular ball decide able to land on that particular horizontal or this little spinny... Oh, jeez. Okay. Not what I had in mind, but I'll take it, so... Not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, this is interesting.
Start.
So now we ended up in all kinds of stuff as far as the stage title itself is called, so... So as far as I'm aware, we have to use the fan, and also we have to just let, one of those blocks can able to push that particular ball to the opposite side. So, yeah, again, I apologize for that particular commentary. It's nothing right to hum about because, well, either way, I just have to focus. That's what I was expecting for doing. And as far as I'm aware, that the entire mode only has, like, I would say, 3 achievements as far as I'm aware. So, like, the first one we've already got is by experiencing the entire mode for the first time. And then the other one, it appears... Oh, okay. That's awesome. It just somehow managed able to bounce us all the way higher up. And as a result, it directly lands into the goal. So yeah, that's actually very top-notch. So... Alright, last area, or the last segment in Area 6 before we move on to Area 7. So... Oh, man. Oh yeah, I suppose about the fact that there's also another thing else I'd like to explain to you all for something. That's what appears to be for the fact that we're actually getting ourselves some new content in Sonic Dash recently. And that's what appears to be for the fact that not only we're about to be expecting to get Gladiator Knuckles, but also, get this, Storm the Albatross with his Type S board dashes onto the track in Sonic Dash. So, yeah, about time to able to actually bring in yet another Babylon Rogues playable characters in Sonic Dash for reals this time, especially considering about the fact that my guess is about the fact that, you know, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is just around the corner. So as a result though, in fact recently I've already unlocked Gladiator Knuckles, which thankfully though he was actually in the epic type as opposed to legendary, because if it's legendary, meaning about the fact I have to grab the insane amount of those character cards, specifically whopping 500 of these things, which is pretty insane if you ask me. So and yeah, and because of that though, it's about the fact that Sonic Dash recently received a brand new update, so as a result I have no choice but to update the game to make sure about the fact I can able to actually do have a chance to able to actually get even more playable characters in Sonic Dash. So I suppose the only thing is left right now is of course Wave the Swallow, which as far as I'm aware though is about the fact that we can able to wait on that in a later time if possible. So Alright, now we've able to actually come across into ourselves the next obstacle, which appears to be involves around, let's just say a combination of both the fan and a cannon. So as a result, basically though, breathe in, fire away. So because of that though, yeah, we need to able to spin the Joy-Con to suck up the actual ball. And then once the actual ball gets into the cannon, it's your chance to able to actually fire the cannon in any direction. And to put it simply, press a singular button to obviously fire it away. So pretty self-explanatory for this particular contraption right there. So and in fact that we've simply almost done with this entire mode basically, because we're now on to Area 7 right now. So yeah, everything else checks out there basically. So on one the topic when it comes to forms of something racing related, there's actually quite a lot of memes out there when it comes to more accurately between both Mario Kart World and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Because as far as I'm aware, that one of those memes actually includes, which appears to be 2 cakes, or I gotta say. So as a result, they did somehow point out with massive cake or massive building display cake for the sake of Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, because Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is going to be much more exciting. Because meanwhile, in Mario Kart Worlds these days, a lot of players seem to don't really play that game that much anymore after that massive backlash with all that online restrictions or anything else like that, specifically with all this intermission tracks as far as this usually as far as I'm considered for. So oh, and unfortunately though, it's about the fact that one thing you might able to realize, that unfortunately though, Izuka confirms that there are no plans to add Sonic movie content to Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. So, I'm guessing it's probably because no matter what though, that the Sonic movies are most likely for the fact that they are entirely different universe as far as I'm usually considered with. I mean, sure enough though, it's about the fact that it will be pretty awesome to able to actually have like, you know, movie counterparts when it comes to not only Sonic, but also Tails, Knuckles, and especially Shadow. But unfortunately though, that's not the case. So because of that though, oh well, beggars can't be choosers I guess. Especially considering about the fact that, well, it's fine for what it is when it comes to forms that, you know, how huge the character roster can be for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, because, you know, after all, we're about to be getting, you know, not only Hatsune Miku, and in addition to Joker from Persona series, and one of the characters from the likes of Yakuza series, and of course, Steve and Alex from Minecraft, SpongeBob and Patrick from, you know, SpongeBob SquarePants cartoon, and even Pac-Man, and all 4 of these ghosts as playable characters in Pac-Man. So, which I'm still very curious to know what the characters are going to be for DLC Pack 4 and 5, as well as the surprising 6th pack, which we'll find out soon enough. So, anyways, we got ourselves the Tide Shell right there. And I suppose we are now going to be moving on into the next area, which is area number 8. Oh, this is interesting. We can now able to come across into ourselves the key little thing right there. So, in order to able to actually reach the goal this time around is that we need to able to let the ball go for that particular key icon. Because once you're done with that, the door will be unlocked and it's your chance to able to actually get to the goal, well, just right after you somehow activate the key. So, like so. And that's all you have to do, basically. So, yeah, it reminds me of so much of, not only Donkey Kong 94, but in addition to Mario vs. Donkey Kong for both the Game Boy Advance and the Switch remake. So, yeah, that's as far as I can try to able to compare that, along with Mario vs. Donkey Kong Mini's March Again on the DS, and in addition to I would say Miniland Mayhem and Tipping Stars as well, because relatively speaking, I was about the fact that those games also does manage to require a key in order able to finish certain stages as far as I'm usually considered with, so. But anyway, in terms of the forms of other topics worth noting for when it comes to racing genres as far as I'm aware, basically though, out of nowhere, that Disney Speedstorm is about to be getting the next season, but this time when it actually focuses around Alice in Wonderland, specifically based off from 1951 version as far as I'm usually trying to guessing that correctly, because they're somehow ignoring the forms of the actual logic of the live-action adaptation. So, at the very least, though, they're trying to acknowledge the 1951 version of Alice in Wonderland. So, as a result, we're about to be getting for about 3 drivers, as far as I'm usually considered with, which appears to be none other than Alice herself, but in addition to Mad Hatter, and finally, the Queen of Hearts. So, yeah, that's as far as I can try to say about this, I guess. So, yeah, for the most part, that's as far as I can try to say, in terms of the forms of other topics worth noting for. And I suppose there's technically the final thing I want to address something. That's what appears to be for the fact that, well, conveniently enough, though, is that Kirby and the Forgotten Land is going to be coming to Nintendo Sound Clock Alarm Mode, which I'm guessing no matter what, though, maybe they'll try to add that in for the future updates, as far as I'm usually trying to consider it with, or something like that. So, yeah. And again, I apologize for my commentary. It's a bit awkward sometimes, like I said, because, you know, out of focus on this mode, because even then, again, if I get distracted, then sometimes, though, I always attempt to make a couple of mistakes sometimes. So, and if I can tell, for the fact that we're actually getting very close towards the end of, specifically, the second rerun variants of Mario Kart Tour tours I can usually consider when it comes to likely not only based off from some tours in 2022 and 2023. So I can imagine about the fact that if they're trying to do the third rerun of the forms of the exact same tours again, but with the forms of likely, for the sake of the forms of how the fact, assuming if, well, I still haven't got a clue of the actual service is about to shut down for Mario Kart Tour in the near distant future, because it's going to be with us for quite a long while. So, anyway, so that pretty much does it for this particular segment. It only took me for about a couple of seconds worth noting for. Oh, this is going to be interesting right there.
Start.
Oh, looking good so far. Oh, gee. Alright, so I just need to let the, okay, there we go. I think that pretty much worked out. So now I just need to make it to the dead center of this obstacle course there. And so much to the point. Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. I did not notice that was the case, but do it very gently. There we go. And yeah, that pretty much does it for Area 8. So, suffice to say, we've only got about 6 segments left with 2 areas to go. So, yeah, I'm generally surprised about the fact that we breezily went through this in the quickest way imaginable, despite my Joy-Con ride is almost low on battery again. But then again, I will charge that up once I'm done with this. So, and conveniently enough, we got ourselves the skeleton key, because, you know, we had to go for that little gate, you know, the key obstacle there. So, now I believe that's as far as we can able to come across into, in terms of the forms of every single obstacle in Toad's Item Factory, basically. So, okay, I suppose we're now on to Area 9 right now. So, oh boy, this is going to be quite interesting when it comes to how this particular setup plays out. So, okay, let's need to do that. And there we go. I was assuming for the fact that we can instantly go into the goal straight away, but unfortunately that's not the case. So, oh well. It doesn't really matter, because either way though, let's just go ahead and do the same thing as before. And could that work? Haha, how's that for that? Alright, so we got 5 segments left of the entire mode. So, alright, so we once again have to utilize the suck-up cannons there. And in addition to, well, using these little shifting blocks and spinny little turning thing there. Oh, jeez. Ah, dang it. Oh, okay. Oh, jeez, that was close. Although, keep in mind, though, you can't go from, can't go for the, you know, when it comes to that particular keyhole as far as I'm aware, that you can't go through the bottom to the top. You have to go from the top to the bottom, basically. So, yeah, that's something I wanted to classify that for that particular hint. So... ah, jeez, I wasn't expecting that would work. But at the very least, though, somehow we managed able to activate the key thing earlier, so that's something. Alright, just gonna make the shot count. Assuming if we need to let that particular moving platform decide able to move aside. Oh, come on, come on. Oh, come on. I was so close for that. Alright, let's try this cannon, so let's see how this works. There we go. That would work. Alright, one more segment in Area 9. Oh, this gets a lot more convoluted there.
Start.
Alright, let's see how this one turns out. But then again, I would have liked able to explain something else for that matter, but let's face it though, this is only just the beginning of, you know, the brand new month in 2025, and as of course, September, so... And I'm generally surprised about the fact that I'm pretty sure that we've only got about 1 month left until Pokemon Legends EA is going to be releasing. So, yeah, I suppose no matter what though, is that, you know, time itself just when flies by, you know? And also, in addition to that, we've now got 2 months left until Kirby Air Riders is now going to be releasing on Switch 2. So, yeah, that'll be exciting as well. So, oh, so close. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, that'll do. And that pretty much does it for Area 9. So I believe we're now on to the 10th and the final area. Now, as far as I'm aware, Area 10 is going to be pretty difficult, especially because of all that multitude of combination of these specific contraptions you have to utilize with, so... Alright, so we got ourselves that familiar Scylla phone from the likes of in Mario Party mode when you're trying to ring the phone onto any other item shops from Koopa. So, yeah. Oh boy.
Start.
Oh boy indeed. This is going to be pretty difficult, so... But I'll try my best if I don't mess this up. Does this will work? I mean, who knows? I mean... Ugh. Goodness gracious, I think suffice to say, I have to be quite frank here, that doing this mode can be felt a bit... it just feels so weird what I was trying to do. You know, multiple contraptions all at once, because, well, again, if you do manage to able to invite 3 other people, that way you can able to actually cooperative. So, like for instance, one player can do the spinny platforms, or the other player can do the fans, and then the other player can do shifting blocks, and then the other player can do the cannonball. So, but unfortunately though, I have to do multiple things at once. So, which it can take a bit while to try to get grips with it. So. Oh goodness, it's this stage. Oh boy.
Start.
Wish me luck on this one, because even then though, it can take a while, so... Oh, okay. Okay, not doing too bad. Just gonna shift it from the other side. Ah, dang, I screwed it up. Ah, oh well. But at the very least, though, you can able to retry the actual stage at any time by simply pressing a button or something like that, or a combination of both buttons as far as I'm aware. So, even though I haven't paid attention to that at all, because even then I had to try to able to focus, because, you know, concentration is key here, as well as timing is key, if you couldn't tell. well, if I obviously should have able to actually say that, but either way. Oh, good lord. Oh, good lord indeed. Although, the good thing we did manage to able to go through the little key thing right there. So, just need to make sure we need to get all the way to the end. So, oh, jeez Louise. Okay, so I have no choice but to keep on doing that little mess around thing with all that spinning bars, as far as this is worth noting for. Hold on. Let me just try to do this. And just do it. Oh, hold on. That's not gonna work. Okay. I think that's okay. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Okay. Alright. Oh jeez, okay. I think that pretty much does it, I think. Although I could be wrong, but no chance. Oh, there we go. This area's done. Oh man, you have no idea for the fact that, you know, there's going to be a lack of commentary for this particular mode as far as I'm aware, so... Alright, I believe we're now on to the final stage in the entire mode, so... Yeah, and I think this is going to be the last time we definitely need to guide the ball into the actual key thing, so... Oh, this stage is going to be interesting. Because like I said, we can't able to actually, like, take the ball from the bottom to the top of that particular key obstacle, so, because, yeah, you have to directly try to make the ball go from the top to bottom for that, key obstacle, so... Ah, I screwed it up. Ah, mamma mia, yes. Oh, good lord. Okay. But I will say, though, that, this mode is actually a nice little distraction. I mean, it might not be my favorite mode, I have to be quite frank here. Because most of the time, though, is about the fact that you have to do multiple things at once, which as a result, that might be felt a bit too much for my liking, so, But if you're up for it, then by all means, you can able to check that mode out. Even though, it does remind me like a similar vibes as in Super Monkey Ball, but unlike Super Monkey Ball, though, that you have to tilt the stage in order able to guide the monkey to the goal. So, relatively speaking, though, is that in this mode in particular, is that you need to guide the actual random colored ball in all the way to the goal. So, I mean, that's as far as I can try to describe about the fonts of this entire mode, basically. So, but like I said, there's only like 3 achievements in this mode, such as, you know, playing this mode for the first time and complete one area, and then the final one is that you need to clear every area in this mode. So, making a grand total of 30 segments within 10 areas, so... Alright, so we got for that particular key obstacle, and now we need to do it all over again, but trying to get to the goal itself. And oh boy, getting to the goal is going to be a bit of a challenging task, I'm not gonna lie. Because it's all about angles, and in addition to the timing, and just everything else in general, basically, so but I promise you, though, is about the fact that once we get into on tomorrow or Wednesday especially, that I can probably discuss more about the forms of other details of what's going on. Because, well, relatively speaking, it's about the fact that it's just one of those rare occurrence where I have to concentrate the most when it comes to going for this particular puzzle obstacle, because unlike in Super Mario Party, that you have to simply just, you know, place those little parts of the puzzle, and that's all I have to do, basically. Like, depending on what stage you're going into, in Puzzle Hustle, or anything else like that, so... But anyway. Ah, I messed it up again. I can definitely tell this stage is actually very difficult though, I'm gonna say that much. Ah, I screwed up again. Alright, get onto a slanted bit, and then just let the, oh... Okay. Oh, jeez. Just need to let that little, thing to go back up. Because if you activate the fan a bit earlier, and then if you're able to activate the fan at the wrong time like I just did there, then you have to start again, so... Oh, man. Oh, that didn't help. That did not help at me in the slightest. Oh yeah, I suppose there's one last thing I want to mention about. Yes, I finally managed to get a chance to watch Thunderbolts recently on Disney+. And what do I think about it? It's actually pretty awesome to me. In fact, no matter what though, I'll talk more about that. Well, despite the fact I'm not going to mention any spoilers for the time being, just because, well, I'll get into more details about that probably until tomorrow, if possible, because, well, relatively speaking, like I said before, this is the only part of this Let's Play that I have to concentrate, and there's also going to be a lot of less commentary involved, because obviously, though, concentration is key, so... Alright, for the most part, we are nearly at the end now, and it's only the matter of time to get this thing in the right moment. Oh, dang, I screwed it up. Okay, that's okay, because we somehow landed on that red little shifting platform right there. So, oh, goodness gracious. Oh, no! Oh, come on! Come on, man. I was doing quite well at one point, but then, it's just that I was not exactly just trying to go further enough to, get to the goal itself. Alright. But at the very least we did somehow... Oh, jeez. Okay. I'm telling you what, though. When we're done with every aspect of this mode, I'm probably not going to touch that mode for quite a long time. Especially because, my goodness, there's a lot going on around here. Alright, there we go. Just need to do a last few bits here and there. I mean, sometimes these areas can be pretty slow sometimes. Alright, just got to time this just right. Ah, don't you dare, Joy-Con. Don't you dare. Oh, yeah! Woo! Thank goodness that red spinny thing just somehow helped us in the last stretch. Because my goodness, if it dare drops again, oh man, I have to seriously got to take a break from this. But regardless, we finally made it. And all we got is basically a payday triple dice, so that's about it basically. So luckily we've somehow done every single areas in Toad's Item Factory. So once you complete all these stages, obviously though it actually shows us in the menu screen right there, obviously though we somehow accomplished everything. So my goodness, that's a lot of work to do.
Congratulations!
And all we got at the end is just a congratulations, and that's about it basically. So, filled to the brim with multiple colored toads, so yeah, that's quite a lot of stages to go through. But regardless, we are essentially done with Toad's Item Factory. So again, 10 areas within 3 segments each, making a total of 30 segments to go through. So yeah, it's almost like a marathon basically. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. So I would have liked able to explain more about that, but honestly, folks, I just want to move on to the next mode, basically. So with that being said, folks, is that we should probably ending off this point right here. So join me next time for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario Party Jamboree. Is that we're about to check out the third and the final mode in the Motion Control Island, where that's what it appears to be Paratrooper Flight School. Now, as far as I'm aware, I had to use 2 Joy-Cons again, but with a very specific reason. So I'll see you guys until tomorrow. Later, fellas.